Hi everyone. As our August JMT start date approaches, Kath and I made the 10-hour drive out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and hiked up and down the Sandia Crest out there for a couple of days to do some altitude training. And whether or not you have hiked at 10,000 feet or above, if you live within a 1 or 2 day drive of some elevated hiking, I highly recommend that you do some for two reasons. First is to get an understanding of how your body is going to respond in a high altitude environment. And second is to find out if you are susceptible to altitude illness, what the symptoms are, and how to respond if you develop symptoms. So let's spend a couple of minutes exploring the effects of altitude hiking. And then I have some video and photos of our Albuquerque visit for your viewing pleasure. So I used the altitude oxygen chart found at the higherpeak.com website to create this JMT specific chart for this discussion. If you take a look at the effective oxygen chart and look at the first line up there in the green, you'll note that at sea level, the effective amount of oxygen in the air you breathe is about 21% in San Francisco. As you go up in elevation, say to 13,000 feet at Forester Pass on the JMT, effective oxygen drops to just 12.7%, or put another way, the effective oxygen at the top of Forester Pass is 40% less than it is in San Francisco. In order to properly oxygenate your body at that altitude, then the body automatically increases your breathing rate even at rest. But even with an increased breathing rate, the oxygen content of your blood is not the same as it is at sea level. So your body lets you know it is not getting the expected O2 by exhibiting the following symptoms. You'll feel fatigue, headache, difficulty sleeping, lack of appetite, and minor mental sluggishness. Now normally, after 2 to 3 days at the same altitude, your body makes some adjustments and these minor symptoms go away. And this process is called acclimatization. However, if after 2 or 3 days these minor symptoms do not go away, you should consider descending 1,000 to 2,000 feet until the symptoms do go away. And you should exercise extreme caution if you continue climbing with chronic minor symptoms, if you begin to see the additional symptoms of moderate mountain sickness, or AMS, which include headache not relieved by meds, nausea, vomiting, increasing weakness or fatigue, shortness of breath, decreased coordination, or persistent mental confusion. Any one of these symptoms are clear indications of moderate altitude illness, and an immediate descent to lower altitude is required. Okay, well that completes our discussion of the effects of altitude on your hiking body, and I hope it's been helpful to you, especially if you have never done any high altitude hiking. The sources that I used for the video I have listed in the not the comments, but in the description section below, and you can go down there and go to those two resources that I used to get a little more information on the effects that altitude will have on your hiking body. Now I'm getting ready to start up the Albuquerque portion of our hiking, our altitude training out in Albuquerque. But I have a confession to make. I broke one of the cardinal rules of hiking at altitude in that I allowed myself to become dehydrated during the course of that hike the first day in Albuquerque. And when we stopped for lunch, which is about 4 miles up the trail, a little more than halfway up to the top of the crest, I noticed that my legs were feeling like they were beginning to start cramping up, and I immediately knew that it was due to a lack of fluids. I had not properly hydrated before we started the hike, and during the course of the hike I obviously had not taken in enough fluids and electrolytes to properly keep hydrated for the duration of the hike. So while we were stopped at lunch, I began drinking immediately the remaining water that I had transported up there, put some electrolytes in there that we had brought along, and I was able to go ahead and finish up the day. But just a word to the wise, if you've never been hiking at altitude, just keep that in mind, that your hydration is a very important part of your mountain hiking experience. Okay, now for the fun part, let's get on to the hiking experience that Catherine had for our 2 days out in Albuquerque. Okay, here you see the Pinot Trail. We're going to be starting right there, hiking up the Pinot Trail. And this goes 4.21 miles all the way up to the Crest Trail, All right, here Kath and I are in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going to do a little JMT training today. As you can see, I'm going to have Kath turn around. We both got just a lightweight day packs on today. We're going to have our full JMT gear on tomorrow, but because we come from sea level and now we're up at 6,500 feet here to start this hike, we're going to be hiking all the way up to an altitude of a little over 10,000 feet to the top of the crest. So we're out here to do some training. I'm going to be out here this month. I'm going to hike a couple of days this month, and we're coming back to Albuquerque here in another month, and going to hike a couple more days just to get used to hiking in altitude and get our bodies accustomed to what we're going to be feeling when we start out on the JMT, because all of our JMT hiking starts at 10,000 feet or above, and we'll be there on the JMT. That first 2 weeks basically will be above 10,000 feet. So, Kath, any words of wisdom about our training today?
None. I'm ready.
Ready to do it?
I am.
All right, here we go. Off on the Pinot Trail, 6,496 feet where we stand. When we get to the top, it'll be a little over 10,000 feet. We're planning on riding the tramway cable system back down to where we parked our truck this morning. My brother was nice enough to pick us up at the tramway and drive us out here to the Pinot Trailhead. So we'll talk to you later. All right, we're now getting ready to go into the more forested area of the Pinot Trail. We're out of the lowlands now. Look back down towards the city. Wouldn't have wanted to have been standing there when that came rolling down the hillside though.
Okay, toothbrush.
Toothbrush, toothpaste,
Sunscreen.
sunscreen,
Bug spray.
bug spray,
Headlamp.
headlamp,
Bug net.
bug net,
Washcloth.
washcloth. Any soap?
Just a little tiny thing of face wash.
Okay, face wash.
And a little thing of face cream.
And a little thing of face cream. Is that all?
There's the extra tent stake.
Extra tent stake.
One.
One spare tent stake. Titanium.
Titanium.
Shepherd's hook.
Yes. And I think that's about it.
All right, we're at our first pack break, just right at an hour. I'm checking my Garmin out right here. Garmin Oregon 600. Get the reading on where we're at. Started at 6,500. We're up at 7198, so 7,200 feet. We've already climbed 700 feet. We've gone 2.04 miles an hour, or excuse me, miles. And that is just under an hour worth of moving time, which is 57 minutes of moving time. We're about an hour and a half into our climb up on the Pinot Trail to the top of the Sandia Crest. That little saddle, as you can see up there, where I've got the camera pointed right now, that's the very top of the Pinot Trail right there. All right, we're about 2 hours into our hike. Okay, I found this beautiful log here right on the side of the trail. Gonna take a little break. All right, Kath and I are at an elevation of 8,011 feet. Our trip odometer says that we have now hiked 3.53 miles and right at 2 hours of actual time on the trail. Our moving time has been an hour and 54 minutes out of the 2 hours we've been on the trail. And where we were averaging 2.3 or 4 miles an hour back there at our first rest stop, we're only averaging 1.8 miles an hour right now, which means we're about a mile from the top of the Pinot Trail. And I think it's, what is it, 9,500 there at the top?
Something like that.
It's around a little over 9,000, I think, at the top of the Pinot Trail. So we've got about another mile worth of hiking, and I'd say about 1,000 feet of elevation to go before we're at the top of the Pinot Trail. We're at joins the Crest Trail, and that's where we're going to stop and take a break. I don't know whether it's going to be time for lunch or not. It's going to be about 11 o'clock when we get up there. We don't want to just continue on up to the tram.
Let's
Lunch
go
up there.
feel.
Yeah, we'll see how we
We
feel.
definitely need to sit up there.
Yeah, we are going to take a break up there. All right, our very first water crossing of the year.
See? That would be perfect
Got
to
a little,
be
yeah.
underwater.
There's a waterfall back in there. You can see it back in there. And here's a serious piece of road furniture right here. That's probably a good 4 or 5 foot step up with a couple of steps in between there. This is kind of similar to what you'll see in a couple of passes there on the JMT. All right, this is for our Lifetime Fitness drill instructor, Danielle. You want to know why we practice all those step ups, Danielle? Here's the why. And this is, we're doing this at 9,000 feet.
Looks like there's enough up there for both of us, maybe.
Little rock scramble here.
a pretty tower. There's shade right there.
Get some views.
And there's a place right there on the trail we'll sit. So you can have the rock if you want it. I'll sit right in the shade over here.
Give me 5, honey. Well, Kath and I are enjoying our break at the top of the Pinot Trail, where it runs into the Crest Trail. So Kath has got her feet propped up there on the tree. She's got her rappel and her bacon, thick cut bacon. I'm enjoying some fruity snacks, Kellogg's fruity snacks. And I just had some pepperoni and cheese and some little Smokies. I put a little mustard on those, and you can see I emptied a packet of Propel into that bottle there. I've already drank a full liter of water on the way up here, and this liter should get me to the top of the crest where the tramway is. I think it's about 2.5 miles from where we're at right now. All right, here's a pretty little breakout here off the Crest Trail. We just left the junction there with the Pinot Trail. Just looking out the east side of the mountains here on the crest. Alright, still on the Crest Trail. Heading up to the tramway. About 30 minutes in. Beautiful area here. Shaded and wooded. Come to the junction of the Tree Spring Trail and
The South Trail.
and
And
the Crest Trail and the Pinot Trail.
oh, the Pinot's done. Isn't that right there? If you
Oh,
look
yeah,
at
that's
the
right.
sign,
Pinot was
that's the
back there.
crest.
You're right.
That's the crest.
Yeah. And if you don't want to make a mistake here, learn from my previous mistake and understand that we're going on the North Crest Trail, which will take us the direction of that arrow. We're going to go there. But last year when we were practicing for our JMT hike, I told my wife we needed to go there.
And he was wrong.
I was. We just crossed the 10,000 foot elevation barrier, so we only have 200 feet of elevation gain left, and we're coming up on the last 2 switchbacks on the Crest Trail. We're going to make a left turn here on the switchback, and we're going to go about 1/4 mile this direction, gaining a little altitude or elevation. Get to the end of this 1/4 mile switchback, we'll make one to the right, and it'll be another 1/4 mile or so back up to the tramway. Okay, here we are approaching the last switchback. We basically reached the crest. Gonna make a hard right here, which Kath is doing, and stay on the trail.
It's so
And
smoky out there.
Yeah, it is. A lot of haze. Air pollution.
Woo!
So there it is, folks. We're above 10,100 now. We got about 100 foot elevation, about 1/4 mile up to the tram. So Kath,
Yes.
tell us how the altitude did
It's
today.
killing me.
Killing both of us
And it's hot, and there wasn't much breeze
until we
for
got right
most
here.
of us.
Yeah,
For most of it.
got a nice little breeze here right now.
But man,
Tough being a flatlander.
it is.
All right, we're heading on up. Another half a mile, quarter of a mile to go. All right, the end of the crest trail is in sight. Tram building is coming into sight momentarily. (10,200 feet), and it took us right at 7 hours.
It stops.
Pretty good hike, honey. See right there.
Whew.
Okay, so Kath and I made it.
We did it. We did it. Oh my goodness, we did it.
It was long and hard.
It was long and hard.
7 hours
And
about
hot.
a little over 8 miles, right? According to the map we just got.
8 miles.
Yeah, about 8 miles. So we're in the tram station. I just bought our tram tickets. As you can see right there, we got 2. So we did the hard work coming up. We're going to get to do the easy work going back.
That's
got
right.
on the tram.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go from the tram building.
One last time, we are now boarding. There's plenty of room.
Out onto the deck here of the tram building.
Great. But he's making everything new.
Right, that's good. Yeah.
City down there. At the Sandia Peak, 10,378 feet. And our tram, just crammed full of tourists, is just arriving, getting ready to ride back down, all the way back down into the city. And if you wanted to know where Kath and I started from this morning, I'm going to point the camera directly into the center, so this should be in the center of the shot down there. It's the Elaine Gallegos City Park down there on that flat area you can see. Brownish area. We started there and we hiked into that canyon area. The canyons took us all the way up to the top of the ridge line there, and the Pino Trail over the Crest Trail. The Crest Trail brought us all the way in here into the tramway building. Beautiful day up here today.
Nice little updraft there.
Yeah, honey, are you ready for your tram ride back home?
I am.
All right, so here Kath and I are at the top of Sandia Crest. We had a change of plans from yesterday. Based on our experience there, I ended up with a little dehydration at the about halfway up our hike up here yesterday. Started cramping up there after we had lunch, so we changed our game plan for today. We're going to definitely be hiking with our new packs. You can see Kath's new Hyperlight Mountain lightweight pack. She's all ready to go. be putting mine on here in a minute. But what we're planning on doing here is we actually drove all the way up here to the top of the crest. And we're going to hike along the crest, top of the crest here, back down to the tramway, which is what, about a mile and a half, Kath?
1.8 miles to the tram.
Yeah, 1.8 miles to the
And then
tram.
we might go further. We might go to that
Cut off on the crest
Tree
trail.
Spring.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we get down there to the tram, and then make a decision, and then we'll hike back up here. So we'll end up being between 4 and 6 miles today. Is what we're going to do. But that'll give Kath a chance to check out her pack. I'd like to get her to turn around one more time. Last year, for those of you that might have watched our northbound 168 video, you will notice that her backpack never quite fit her properly, never balanced properly all year long, and I think it's looking much better this year with the new pack, number one, and number two, she's actually lightened up her load quite a bit from last year. She's going to be about 10 pounds lighter on the JMT than she was last year, so looking good. This is the first time that she's actually had the pack on, and we're going to do some serious hiking with most of the gear that she's going to be taking on the trail. So she's ready to go, I'm ready to go, and we're loaded up. I'm going to put my pack on, and we're going to be taking off here momentarily. The tram sign's right there. You missed it back there. Alright, we're at Quantus Meadow and Cabin Trail sign. Alright, we're coming out here at the tramway. Actually got a new restaurant being built. That's why you see all this construction materials here. I'll take the construction detour to get around over to where the tram is. Alright, here's Kath and I. We're in the tramway building. We just hiked down about 1.8 miles from the parking lot up by the antenna farm there, at the top of the crest, to the tramway building. Sitting inside right now, taking on some liquids. We're going to do some stretching. We're going to relax a little bit, and then we're going to decide what we're going to do for the rest of the day. But Kath, how's your back doing? A number one?
Super, A number one.
Good.
Just got to find a place to put my water bottle.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to put that water bottle on her where she can get to it, where I don't have to pull it out for her when she wants to drink.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting ready to head back up to the antenna farm now from the tramway. You can see the tram back in behind me there. And there's the city side. Kath has already started hiking down the stairs. And I'm not far behind. Good day for an outing.
Good, how are you doing?
So it must be a school?
Summer camp.
Summer camp, awesome.
Fun.
I wish I'd have been able to do this when I was in summer camp.
Me too. What ages?
5 to 10.
Okay.
So how far are you going today?
To the rock house.
Oh, good. Well, that'll be awesome. You'll enjoy it up there.
Yeah, both.
Have fun.
You're 11, aren't you? Yeah, 5 to 11. Oh, she
5 to
lied.
11. There's an old guy. Us old guys got to stick together. All right, we're about halfway back up. Yeah, more than halfway, probably about 8/10 of a mile ago. And we're at the Kiwanis Meadow and Cabin Trail sign. All right, here we are, coming out of the crest trail, 130, up to the antenna farm. Hiked over from the tram. Actually took us a little less than an hour to get back here. Took us about an hour to get down and a little less than an hour to get back. 55 minutes.
We stopped several times going down.
Yeah, we did.
Messed with my water thing.
So, Kath, what is the verdict on the pack?
The pack is awesome. It's a definite keeper. We just have to figure out where to put
Where to put the water? Yeah, we're going to figure something out.
We'll
I think
mess
I have
with
an
it.
idea. So, I'm going to call it a day. Beautiful day up here on the crest. I'm going to take a loop up here by the observation deck. Incredible views up here. Only in America, folks. You gotta pay the dues to get the views. So I want to thank you for watching today. I hope it was both informative and enjoyable for you. And as always, Kath and I love to hear your comments. So if you want to leave something below, please do. This is Sam out.